So this is the review of the L20 3.0 boost model, and in this video we're going to be doing a hill test, speed test, brake test, talk about the overall performance, any other thing that I think would be relevant for this review. Also, should you buy this or should you avoid it altogether and go with a different model? But first of all, let's do a speed test. Not using the boost mode that I'll explain in a second. We are going 22, 23, 24 torque sensor, 25, so 25 kilometers per hour. And just for reference, I did reach out to Engwe about to see if this bike can be unlocked faster, and unfortunately it cannot be unlocked. But I explained that why that can be a good thing, I guess, for some people in certain countries. And also, if you are wondering what the boost button does, I showed this in the first video, but let me show you again. If you're approaching a hill, start to pedal, and as soon as you press the boost button, you get a lot more torque coming from the rear 250 watt motor. Now, as you can see, the max speed I got was 25 kilometers an hour. That is completely capped at. So even if you go down a hill, the bike will actually resist and keep you at that 25 kilometer an hour top speed. But to be honest, with that 250 watt motor, also with that regulated speed, it will suit a lot of EU countries that are having issues at the moment with more high powered e-bikes. So actually this bike in the end might be a lot more suitable than you think. Okay, let's do a quick test here. Let's say, for example, somehow you manage to run out of battery. Okay, so I'm going to drop the bike. So the bike is on gear 0, so it's basically no power. Let me test how much of a struggle it is to cycle this bike normally with 0 power and see how we get on, because some bikes have resistance on the motors, and because of the weight and the motors and everything else in between, they can be a struggle to pedal. So let me just see right now, realistically, what would happen if you ran out of power on this boost model. So I'm giving it a kick. By the way, I am on slip gear number 1, so the most assistance possible, I guess, in this type of scenario. Okay, so I'm only going like 11 kilometers an hour. Can I go up faster? 15, 14 kilometers an hour. Struggling a little bit, to be honest. Okay, here we go. I'm pedaling as fast as possible. I'm on gear number 1, slip gear on the mechanical gears. So very boring. And yeah, it's definitely difficult. So to be honest, it's not ideal if you lose power and you have to pedal something on this. So let's just stick it back onto power mode. Let's even use the boost button. But very cumbersome running out of battery. Okay, so let's talk about the hill climbing ability of this model. It's a 250 watt motor. The peak is not stated on the website. However, it feels a lot more than 250 watts. So anyway, let's take a look at how it performed going up hills. So the hill is steep enough, to be honest. Doesn't look like it on camera, but it pretty much is. So I'm going to try and pedal on gear 1 without actually using boost. Let me see. Okay, gear 1, I'm struggling a bit. Let's put it up to gear 2. Okay, gear 2 is better. Gear 3 is better. Of course, gear 4. Gear 5. Let me even drop the gear shifter to make life easier. Okay, you won't go up a hill fast on this, but I'm going 10 kilometers an hour, so, and I'm on gear 1 slip gear. So let's do it again, but this time let's see if the boost function can really help us going up a hill. By the way, the suspension on this is really good. Woohoo! And look, the brakes are just whoa. Yeah, and the tires are really good quality street tires. Actually, quite nice to see something different. Okay, so just for reference, we are now on gear 1 on the mechanical gears, and we will press the boost button. So I'll hold my finger on the boost button. Let's see. Oh, okay, wow. Okay, there you go. I mean, to be honest, up a hill, just press the boost button, drop your gears, and you won't have an issue at all. Even if I put this onto, let me see, actually even if I have that on gear 1 going up a hill, it's actually quite decent. So I'll go around to one more hill and then I'll see what it's like. There's hardly any noise coming from this e-bike. I actually like it, there's no banging at all. I'm always happy, to be honest, with 90% of the Engwe bikes that are reviewed, even some of the Engwe scooters that I've actually reviewed in the past. Okay, so we're at the second hill, which is just around the bend here. Let me just get to here. Okay, so I'll keep pedaling. I'm on gear 1, no boost button. Okay, so let me see if I can get up this hill on gear 1. Okay, struggling a bit. Oh, just press the boost button. Yeah, I mean the boost button is actually really nice because you basically just use it when you want to use it. So as you can see, going up hills there, just press the boost button to get you up there. You'll have no issues whatsoever, even if you're on gear 1. It's impossible to do it with 0 power on the bike. So definitely put it onto gear 1, press the boost button, and you'll have no issues at all climbing hills with this model. Okay, so let's have a quick talk about if you are in a city area, because this bike is not small. It is heavy, but is it bulky and cumbersome? So to be honest, it's actually fine in areas like this, but the only thing to keep in mind is the handlebars are quite wide, just like what I mentioned. So for example, I'm coming to some traffic in front of me here, so sometimes in situations like this the handlebars are just way too wide, so you cannot squeeze by traffic. So here's actually here's a perfect example. So yeah, very wide here. So of course you don't want to hit the cars, so you need to be very, very careful. And that's kind of an issue with wide handlebars, but it's not going to really, you know, cause much trouble after all. You just need to be very, very, very careful. But overall, going around city areas like this, yeah, will definitely not be an issue. Now this bike is actually full of specs, so I'm going to go through the full list right now in this review, and I'll talk about it as I am doing that. So the max load on this model is actually a whopping 150 kilograms. It is height adjustable. It's suitable from 5'1" to 6'3". At 5 level of a pedal assist, and it is foldable. So portability is actually not too bad on this model. So Engwe are actually quite good for their batteries. So the max range that they got on this was a range of up to a 135 kilometer range. The wiring, get this, the wiring on this model is IPX7. The display and lights is IPX6. The motor is IPX5, controller is IPX5, and the battery casing is IPX4. So actually quite a good waterproof rating. So it's very good for delivery drivers as well. People that deliver food, Deliveroo, Just Eat, wherever the case is. Plus you also get this rear rack with this model. So it's actually quite good in that respect. But this is the first. This is one of the cool features. This has a 3mm anti-puncture layer in these 20-inch street tires. That is excellent. That is something that I've never ever had on an e-bike. So the likelihood of it getting a puncture is very slim on this model. Not only that, but this model comes with a 8 amp hour fast charger, which means it only takes 2 hours to charge it. The brakes on this model are actually very good. Fantastic hydraulic brakes with 180mm disc rotors, giving you more than what you need in stopping. Okay, so let's do a brake test. I'm going as fast as possible. The roads are very hot today, very high temperature. Can the full hydraulic brakes bring me to a stop when I come to the roundabout right in front of me? They should do, because they are full hydraulic brakes. After all, let's see what the street tires are like also. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah. So I must say that the brakes are quite phenomenal on this e-bike. And of course the suspension on this has so much travel, I couldn't even
bottom it out. So let's have a look at that.
Okay, so I'm on a reasonably bumpy road here. I mean, the suspension is actually very good on this, and on my first video I tried to bottom out the suspension, but it's extremely difficult to bottom out the suspension on this. You can lock the front suspension if you want. Midpoint does a very good job as well. So not a lot of complaints, actually zero complaints about the suspension. I think suspensions are definitely getting better on bikes. I mean, even if I jump on the bike, you know, I cannot bottom that suspension out, and I'm putting full force on this bike, my full weight, and it's excellent suspension.
So everything you're getting with the Boost model is absolutely nice. You have range there. You have a whopping 8 amp hour fast charging and a crazy range of up to 135 kilometers, which was of course tested properly as well. You have a 3mm anti-puncture layer. You have good lights. You also have front lights, rear lights on this model. Good wraparound mud guards as well. Fantastic suspension. But there is one thing I forgot to mention. Now, my wife did actually ride this bike for quite a while also, and she found that the handlebars were a bit too close to her chest. I did find that initially, but then after riding it for more longer, I did actually get quite comfortable on the bike. So at first I was like, wow, this is so close, because I've never been on a bike like that. You know, let me just give you a look to see what I'm talking about. So the handlebars are normally not this close to your body, but because the way the frame is designed, I found it actually quite comfortable after a while. So, you know, it didn't turn out to be much of a deal breaker in the end. By the way, another feature is actually the battery on this is actually completely removable, and you can take it out in seconds. You do get 2 keys with this. This is the battery here. Now the battery is quite heavy because of also the casing that it's in. It's a 48 volt 13.5 amp hour battery, but the beauty of this is that if you need to lock it up outside, if you're going to walk, you can simply take out the battery. So of course, you know, nobody's going to rob an e-bike that hasn't got the battery on it, because it's the most expensive part. So it'll only take you 2 seconds to do that. Plus also you can charge this indoors as well if you're walking during the day, and if you need to just give it basically a quick top up. So what's my overall verdict? If you're in the market for a long range e-bike that has fast charging, that has a rear rack included, that is height adjustable, that has a 3mm anti-puncture layer, that has fantastic suspension all around, and has really good build quality, plus a very good waterproof rating, definitely consider the Boost model. And again, hill climbing is great on this. It is capped at 25 km/h speeds, but that won't be much of a deal breaker for a lot of people in the market for something like this. So if you have enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you in the next video.